Hi everyone, this is Priyadarshini from EC department. I have case study on English as a developing language. English language, West Germanic language of the Indo-European language family that is closely related to the Frisian, German and Dutch languages. English originated in England and it is the dominant language of the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, and various island nations in the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean. It is also an official language of India, the Philippines, Singapore, and many countries in Sub-Saharan Africa, including South Africa. English is the first choice of foreign language in most other countries of the world, and it is that status that has given it the position of a global lingua franca. It is estimated that about a third of the world's population, some 2 billion persons, now use English. In addition to the simplicity of influences, English has two other basic characteristics: flexibility of function and openness of vocabulary. English belongs to the Indo-European family of languages and is therefore related to the most other languages spoken in Europe and Western Asia from Iceland to India. The parent tongue called Pareto Indo-European was spoken about 5,000 years ago by Normans believed to have roamed the Southeast European plains. Germanic, one of the language groups descended from this ancestral speech, is usually divided by scholars in the three regional groups: East, North, West. Though closely related to English, German remains far more conversive than English in its retention of a very elaborated system of inflections. Frisian spoken by the inhabitants of the Dutch province of Friesland and the islands of the west coast of Sweden is the language most nearly related to modern English. Icelandic, which has changed little over the last 4,000 years, is the living language more nearly resembling old language in grammatical structure, modern English in analytic. Therefore, relative and inflected, whereas Proto-Indo-European, the central tongue of most of the modern European languages, example German, French, Russian, Greek, was synthetic or inflected. During the course of thousands of years, English words have been slowly simplified from the inflected variable forms found in Sanskrit, Greek, Latin, Russian, and German to what invariable forms as in Chinese and Vietnam's. The German and Chinese words are for the noun man or exemplary. German has five forms: man, manis, mani, manner, manner. Chinese has one form, ren. English stands in between with four forms: man, mans, min, mins. In English, only nouns, pronouns, as in he, him, his, adjectives, as in big, bigger, biggest, and verbs are inflected. English is the only European language to employ uninflected adjectives. Example: the tall man, the tall woman. Compared to Spanish, elaborated alto and la mujer alta. As for verbs, if the modern English word ride is compared with the corresponding words in Old English and modern German, it will be found that English now has only five forms: write, writes, wrote, riding, written. Was whereas Old English written has 13 and modern German written has 16. Flexibility of function has grown over the last five centuries as a consequence of the loss of inflections. Words formerly distinguished as nouns or verbs by differences in their forms or noun, often used as both nouns and verbs. One can speak, for example, of planning a table or tabling a plan, booking a place or placing a book, lifting a tub or tumping a lift. In the other Indo-European languages, apart of or from rare exceptions in Scandinavian languages, nouns and verbs are never identical because of the necessity of separate noun and verb endings. In English forms for traditional pronouns, adjectives and adverbs can also function as nouns. Adjectives and adverbs as verbs and nouns, pronouns and adverbs as adjectives. One speaks in English of the Frankfurt book fair, but in German one must add the suffix er to the place name and put attributive and noun together as a compound Frankfurter which means. In French, one has no choice but to construct a purse involving the use of two prepositions for do liver d Frankfurt. In English, it is now possible to employ a plural form as adjective modifier, as in wages per board and sports editor, or even a conjunctional group, as in prices and incomes policy and parks and gardens committee. Any word class may alter its function in this way. The in sandouts, prepositions becoming nouns, no buts, conjunction becoming noun. Openness of vocabulary implies both free admission of words from other languages and the ready creation of compounds and derivatives. Words from more than 350 languages have entered English in this way. Like French, Spanish, and Russian, English frequently forms scientific terms from classical Greek word elements. Although a Germanic language in its sounds and grammar, the bulk of English vocabulary is in fact Romance or classical in origin. English possesses a system of orthography that does not always accurately reflect the pronunciation of words. See below orthography. Development of the English language. Old English, Germanic contributed by Anglo-Saxon tribes 450. Contributed many basic words to and for in man, wife, child, flight, love, drink, sleep, eat, house, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Latin contributed by Christian missionaries 600 altar, monk, French, school, angel, anthem, non, rule, candle, offer, hymn, priest. Old Norse added by Winkles 787 lift, talk, give, husband, sky, trust, dirt, school, leg, rotten, care, cast. French contributed by Norman Conquistadors 1066 added 10,000 words, most still in use. Action, adventure, marriage, power, vision, range, able, cure, horrible, honest, join, arrive, move, observe, prefer, trip, 150. English has developed over the course of more than 1400 years. The earliest forms of the English are a group of West Germanic dialects brought to Great Britain by Anglo-Saxon settlers in the 5th century and further muted by Norse-speaking Viking settlers starting in the 8th and 9th centuries, or collectively called Old English. Middle English began in the late 11th century with the Norman conquest of England. This was a period in which English absorbed abundant French and Latin vocabulary through Old French, is particular its Old Norman dialect. Early modern English began in the late 15th century with the introduction of the printing press to London. The printing of the King James Bible and the start of the great verbal shift through all types of printer and electronic media of these countries. English has become the leading language of international discourse and the lingua franca in many religions and professional contexts such as science, navigation, and law. Modern English has been spreading around the world since the 17th century by the worldwide influence of the British Empire and the United States. Modern English grammar is the result of a gradual change from a typical Indo-European dependent marking pattern, which a rich inflection, morphology, and relatively free word order to most analytic pattern with little inflection and a fairly fixed subject verb object word order. Modern English relies more on auxiliary verbs and word other order for the expression of complex tense, asset, and mood, as well as passive constructions, interrogatives, and some negations. English is the most spoken language in the world if Chinese is divided into variants, and the third most spoken native language in the world after Standard Chinese and Spanish. It is the most widely learned second language and is either the official language or one of the official language in almost 60 sovereign states. There are more people who have learned English as a second language than there are native speakers. As of 2005, it was estimated that there were over 2 billion speakers of English. English is the majority native language in the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Sea and Gillespie, and the Republic of Ireland, and is widely spoken in some areas as of the Caribbean, Africa, Southeast Asia, and Oceania. Is Estonia, official language of the United Nations, the European language, and many other world and religion international organizations. It is the most widely spoken Germanic language, accounting for at least 70% of speakers of this Indo-European branch. English speakers are called Anglophones. There is much variability among these many accents and dialect, so English used in different countries and regions in terms of phonetics and phonology, and sometimes also vocabulary, idioms, grammar, and speaking, but it does not typically prevent understanding by speakers of other dialects and accents, although mutual in unintelligibility can occur at the extreme ends of the dial continuum. Thank you.